carry that crest in my hand. Rain on my shoulders, still I stand. Tell me who wears it like we can. Mud on the boots, heart of gold. Those stories living in the cold. Every name that the walls still hold. I was born for this, I was told. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold. We were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. When the pressure comes down hard, we don't flinch, we play our part. Every scar on the badge says more than 1,000 songs before. From the first whistle to the last, we remember where we came from fast. No throne, no crown, no borrowed fame, just a city calling out that name. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold. We were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. Let the whole ground shake, let the whole world know. We don't chase a moment, we are the home. Hands up high, voice up loud. Same old pride, same crowd. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. Yeah. Ooh. Blue till the end, blue till the end. Loyalty stays even through the storm. From the bridge to the stand, I carry that crest in my hand. Rain on my shoulders, still I stand. Tell me who wears it like we can. Mud on the boots, heart of gold. Those stories living in the cold. Every name that the walls still hold. I was born for this, I was told. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold. We were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. When the pressure comes down hard, we don't flinch, we play our part. Every scar on the badge says more than 1,000 songs before. From the first whistle to the last, we remember where we came from fast. No throne, no crown, no borrowed fame, just a city calling out that name. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold. We were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. Let the whole ground shake, let the whole world know. We don't chase a moment, we are the home. Hands up Yes, good people, big up to all of you. Welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome for another edition of the Blue Morning Show. And today we have quite a lot lined up to talk about. We will talk about Marc Cucurella potentially joining Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, and also, yeah, we're hearing that Real Madrid are also interested. And also we'll talk about Enzo Fernandez. We'll talk about Valentin Barco, or we'll talk about Josh Acheampong's future, and then we'll talk about Adam Wharton potentially moving to Chelsea, Murillo also, and of course Morgan Rogers. We've been talking about him for 3 consecutive years now. Let's see whether finally he joins Chelsea Football Club. Yeah, because he qualifies in terms of the type of players we've been told that we will look to sign this time. Experience, Premier League experience also. I get it, he's still very young, but yeah, in reality, he's very experienced. But that's by the way. And then again, we'll go news hunting as usual. And be rest assured, as the show progresses, if anything new emerges, this will be the first place you'll hear about it. And let's see. Nemaya is saying, I cannot believe we are keeping Tosin. You're not the manager. That's something to bear in mind. The manager wants him to stay. I'm quite sure the reason that they've decided to keep him is because the manager wants him. And Tosin is actually experienced. You don't want to lose him. I get it. Towards, you could say, towards the end of last season, he was shaky. But that happens to even the best of players. He's still one of our box defenders. As long as he's content with being a squad player, I don't have an issue with that. And if the manager feels he's a starter, that's his business. And if it doesn't work out, then yeah, he'll be the one to be at the consequences of the wrath of Chelsea fans. So I'm not concerned. I want the manager to get the players he wants, and if it means Tosin staying is his decision, yeah, let him deal with. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's see what else we have here. Big up to you too, Tebe. Good. My South African bro. Always nice to see you out there. Hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. And big up to you too, Jay, my bro. Thank you. 2 a.m. Jay, if that's according to Mitcha Boy. Who else do we have here? Up the charts. Indeed. Yep. More likes, people. More likes. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. Yes, we still do beg for likes. Because yeah, the more likes we garner, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and be forced to push the stream to more people who'll be interested in the topics we have lined up. And yeah, we're getting closer and closer to 30K subscribers. And when we get there, we will do a giveaway of custom Chelsea kits. And you can get the cash equivalent or get the kit with your name on the back. Okay, it's a promise, and we're gonna do it. All right, let's see. Without wasting much of your time, I think we're gonna go. You could say, yeah, news hunting. I get it. We have some items that are reflecting the title, but yeah, we're not gonna go straight away to those. I think we'll start with news hunting. And this here talks about Barco arriving Argentina camp. So Chelsea players don't rate him. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. He's more mature now than he was at Brighton. He's become 10 times the better he was at Brighton. Yep, more experience, and the fact that yeah, he got the Argentina national team call up reflects the fact that he's improved. If it's not that good, I don't think he'd get a chance to be part of their World Cup squad. But that the fact that he's called, you know how good they have abundance of talent. They don't lack talents. The Argentina national team. So that's reflective of the fact that Barco is a very good player, and I think he'll do well for Chelsea. I know a lot of people think he's not physical. Maybe his built overall. You look at him and say, yeah, he's not physical, but yeah, you can muscle him off the ball easily. As young as he is and as lightweight as he comes across, he's still a very, very strong player. All right, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way to me. Thank you for triggering that. Yep, let's get the likes up, people.
Please like the video if you haven't, and also do subscribe to Chelsea Perspective if you haven't. We sincerely do appreciate your support. So this here says Chelsea are tracking Aston Villa forward Morgan Rogers, Crystal Palace midfielder Adam Wharton, and Nottingham Forest defender Murillo. Both, the three of which play each then different positions. So there's actually a chance we sign the three of them. And I like the three of them, but if we're signing Rogers as a 10, Morgan Rogers as a 10, I'd say maybe look elsewhere. And because he's not that much of a creator for me, as much as I know he drives with the ball effectively, capable of getting you goals, and also works very hard. If we're signing him as a 10, I'd rather we go for a player, a much, you can say, capable of garnering double digits in terms of assists by the time the season, any given season ends. He's not that guy. That's not me saying he's a bad player. That's just his profile. Wharton, better passing range than Rogers, better vision in my opinion. But let's see what the club does. We're not too. Nobody's sure what the club will do. But yeah, Warm was. All right, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And if you're in the chat, let me know what you think about the possibility of Morgan Rogers joining Chelsea, and then Crystal Palace midfielder Adam Wharton joining Chelsea, and Nottingham Forest defender Murillo joining Chelsea. I like Murillo. I get it. Some say he's not that tall, not that good aerially, but I take him over. You can say nearly all our centre backs currently, honestly. But I think he bring if we sign him, he'd bring good balance to our defensive line. But let's see what the club does. It looks like we're seriously interested in signing Murillo, and he wouldn't be a bad signing. But I'd rather, if we can, I'd rather a much taller player. But it doesn't really matter. We can balance it out, balance things out. That's just be attentive to all the profile of CBs we sign. And Jay says, I hope he says, I hope the Athletic article is wrong, because if it is true, they've learned absolutely nothing. Xavi isn't a magician. 1-2 signings, including Bowen, aren't doing anything to this badly unstable squad. Okay, if you end up signing just two players, it'd be because Alonso feels like those two players will be enough. I don't think he signed a contract and leave himself. He signed a contract, leaving himself vulnerable to the SDs later on doing whatever they want and not what he wants done, so that the team can compete. So I'm not bothered about that. I'm not bothered what Athletic says. I know fully well we have a manager, we don't have a head coach. So if we sign just two players or maybe three players, it'd be definitely because the manager feels like those two players will be enough. So and I'm not gonna bother myself about it. Maybe let's the summer transfer window come and go, and if they don't make good enough signings, then I'll start maybe complaining at the time. I have a lot going on in my life. I'm not gonna let that bother me right now, because you actually probably you're not too sure whether to trust the Athletic or not, because they're full of it. But that's, by the way, keep jumping. But one thing is certain, it's not going to be an overhaul. Yeah. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Sincerely do appreciate you all finding the time to join the conversation this particular morning. It's still 9:02 CST. Yes. So if you haven't, please take a second, drop a like on the stream, and also do subscribe to Chelsea, if Chelsea Perspective, if you haven't. So Murillo to Chelsea, Adam Wharton to Chelsea, and Morgan Rogers to Chelsea. Your thoughts? Right, sincere. Once again, apologies, guys. Yeah, I have to take a break. The kiddos until yeah, but I think it's gonna be a lot smoother right now, yeah, because their grandma is up. What else do we have here? Rogers and joining us over Arsenal. That is just you. Don't, Jay, do you actually rate Chelsea at all? Do you rate Chelsea at all? We've been there before. If we want him, I think we're gonna get him. Maybe the fact that we have you can say his friend, you can argue he's one of his best friends in Cole Palmer, he'd be willing to join us over Arsenal. It's not that, come on, you don't, sometimes you don't sound like you rate the club at all. I get it, we don't have Champions League football. Arsenal, they do, they made it to the final, they won the league. Maybe that would be the layer for him, but I don't see it that way. I believe in my club, the size of my club as an entity. I believe that if we really want Rodgers, we're gonna get him. But you have every right to see it that way. But sometimes just be positive a little bit. It will be healthy for you, not dangerously positive. But you can't just go Rodgers and joining us because Arsenal made it to the Champions League final. How about him preferring playing other Xavi Alonso who plays much better football than the Haram football Arsenal plays? Come on, man. All right, let's see. Big up to you to Mabas05, aka MB05. My bro, I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. 1 month left until Xavi Alonso starts work with the Chelsea squad next month, which is on the July 1st. I cannot wait for Alonso ball in preseason. And here's something I want to say. What on Cucurella right now? Let's see they're saying Chelsea are not actively looking to sell Cucurella in this window, but he has not been deemed an untouchable. That's because probably he's indicated that he wants to move on. He wants to go back to Spain, and then that report goes on to say, should someone meet their valuation, then they will not stand in Cucurella's way. Here's let's break this down a bit. I don't think Chelsea will ask anything cheap for Cucurella. I get it. Barcelona are interested in signing him. What's his name? Real Madrid, we've heard, are also interested in signing him. They've joined the race. And also, I've heard Atletico Madrid are also interested in signing Cucurella. But you could argue, I think the only club where you'd say he has space would be Atletico Madrid, because I think they have a they have left back issue there. Barcelona still has former Man City player there, and they like him. So look, but that's by the way. Anyway, I digress. Cucurella, I thought he had just 2 years left on his contract. It turns out his current contract is 2 years and 3 years actually. I learned yesterday, which means Chelsea are not going to be in a hurry to sell him. Which in turn means if you want to sign Cucurella, it will be on Chelsea's terms. I get it, he wants to leave, but Chelsea are not going to sell him for cheap. And remember, he signed a new contract. I get it, he didn't extend the length of his contract, but he got an improved contract, which means definitely he will leave if he wants. I get it, but he's going to leave on Chelsea's terms, not on his terms, not in any club's terms. And that you could argue that probably, in my opinion, I'd say there's still a chance he stays at Chelsea. And plus, we're learning that Alonso has spoken to him, I think, severally, if we're to believe that report. So I think there's still a chance he remains at Chelsea. But let's see what happens. But most likely, he will leave. Big up to you too. Let's see. And Jay is saying, no, sir, Arsenal more stable, competing for major. And I did mention that. I did mention Arsenal making it to the Champions League final and winning the league. That reflects the fact that they're more stable. For major and offers Europa Champions League. Offers more wages. That's another excellent point. This is just logical and not being positive or negative. I'm not saying you're negative, but I'm just saying you could argue. I'm not sure how is to to phrase it, but come on, man, you can't just go. Rogers wouldn't want to join us over Arsenal. We've been there before. Yeah, there are occasions where we've had situations where they were interested in certain players, and those players chose to join Chelsea over Arsenal. We've been there before, and I don't think the problem is that we don't pay well. We do pay well, but we offer heavily incentivized salary. With our salary, the salary we offer players are structured in a way that you earn what you work for. And that may well, yeah, who's to say that may well, those reasons you've mentioned could definitely be the reason why Morgan Rogers would want to join Arsenal over Chelsea. But I wouldn't just conclude that, yeah, he's definitely going to join Arsenal over, that he wouldn't want to join Chelsea over Arsenal. No, there are other reasons why that when you could argue the fact that, yeah, a lot of, I don't think, not a lot of players would want to play on the, what's his name, under Arteta, given the type of football they play, even though they have abundance of attacking talent. They still play in a way that yeah, a lot of football fans don't like. Even some of their own fans don't like it. So you get my point now. I can't just. I don't think I'm not gonna say any player would want to join Arsenal over Chelsea yet because maybe we don't have Champions League football, and I don't think the current situation at Chelsea is, as you could say, as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. We were actually two centre backs away from, you could say, being better off than we are currently. But I get your point. Yeah, I'm not. I didn't say you were negative, but I'm saying, do you actually, you could say, I'm from the perspective of you as a Chelsea fan, you should actually. I We're actually a bigger club than Arsenal, and I would defend that anytime, any day. Yeah, you say that they won the league, or maybe you could say your I wouldn't say your go-to argument. You bring up the fact that yeah, they won the league, so yeah, and you could some would say London is red or whatever. You know, it's not. We're still world champions. We have two Champions League trophies. They have none. Two Europa League trophies, one Conference League trophies. We've won literally every club level trophies there is to win. Yeah. So for me, look, I wouldn't, because of our current situation, say any player would want to join Arsenal over Chelsea. And I wouldn't say Morgan Rogers would want to join Arsenal over Chelsea, except if they offer him something redonkulous, which I think we can measure. The difference being we offer heavily incentivized contract. It's not like we don't pay well. But yeah, let them take him if he prefers joining them. And as I've said before, if we're signing Morgan Rogers as a 10, I'd rather we sign a more creative 10 capable of garnering double digits in terms of assists by the time the season ends. Maba says, Coach, look at N'Golo Kante, for example. He left a title winning Leicester City, who were playing UEFA Champions League football after they won the league. Kante won the league after, okay, when Chelsea finished 10th. Was that the case at the time? I don't remember. But here's the thing. Even if that was the case, what does that tell you? Probably knew, even though that they won the league, that Chelsea uh, is a much bigger club, yeah, than Leicester City. So, but you get my point there. And the Mabas says, in my opinion, I think Rodgers can do the same from UEFA Champions League football to 10th place. It's possible because definitely, if we're able to convince him to join us, we'll be willing to offer him nearly twice as much as what he's earning currently at Aston Villa. But chances are actually he wouldn't want to leave Aston Villa. If we're being objective here, chances are he wouldn't want to leave Aston Villa. Chances are actually he wouldn't want to leave Aston Villa to go join Arsenal that plays harem football. Some footballers are like that. Have you not heard stories of some footballers not wanting to join a particular club due to how their manager likes to approach the game? All right, keep dropping the likes, understand people. The likes do go a long way. My boss, that's Jay saying hello to you. What else do we have here? AKA, always being late. Yeah, that's why we're looking to hire, but apparently nobody's interested in earning some pay from working for Chelsea perspective. But yeah, we'll see. And Jay says Cuckoo can leave, no problem. He is on a decline. Is he really? He is on decline in a short contract. We will get good fee for him. Problem is replacing the best with the best. But Hull is linked with United and no link with us. A problem. That left hand side, Hato alone will not be enough. I think we need two good players in that left position, whether they operate as left center back, or left wing back, or left center midfield, whatever you want to call it. Hato is a very, very good player and can only get better. But I'd rather we keep Cuckoo. I don't think it's necessarily. Again, let me see. What did Jay say there? Jay said he is on decline. I don't think he is. I think we have. You can say. The lack of preseason and the stretch of the season to Club World Cup, for me, it's a factor that a lot of us don't consider when talking about, when discussing the reason behind Chelsea's struggles in the just concluded season. I think it's important that we recognize the fact that the season stretching to Club World Cup and lack of preseason is a serious factor that one uh, shouldn't you could say shouldn't consider when discussing the reason behind Chelsea's struggles in the just concluded season. I think definitely like a preseason a factor, the Club World Cup a factor too, but I don't think Cucurella. That my point is Cucurella isn't in decline. He's just tired. I think a break would do him a world of good, mentally and otherwise. But then again, that's just my opinion. I want to hear yours, but I think a lot of people will agree the lack of preseason and the season before stretching to the Club World Cup is a serious factor, which meant the players didn't take a good enough break from football. All right, let's see what else we have here. Nemaya Fowler says, "You're finished. You are finished." If Tosin staying doesn't mean he starts every game, and Tosin isn't as bad as a lot of people make that to be. I'd like you to go take your time, calculate how many times he's made mistakes that were slating him for. But of course, it's your thing to always go a player is finished, just like rich money makers came here screaming Hato isn't Chelsea level because of that horrible outing at Karabakh. All right. He says that I think Xavi Alonso can do the same with Tosin and Chalobah, Cowell and Hato as well. Too, they can be world class under Alonso, just like he did with Ta, Jonathan Ta, Hinkapie, and Tapsoba. It's a fact. I know again, but a lot of people don't know that. Here's the thing. We've been there before. A prime example would be Antonio Rudiger. You could argue was on the verge of exiting the Stamford Bridge gates before the arrival of Thomas Tuchel. Even he did admit during an interview that, yeah, he was everything the fans said he was during that period where he struggled, made a lot of mistakes, looked out of place. But look how things changed for him under Thomas Tuchel. He was actually one of the best CBs in world football at the time under Thomas Tuchel, but he was on the verge of leaving Chelsea. So who's to say under Xavi Alonso that Tosin won't prove to be a world-class defender? And he's not as poor as a lot of people make it out to be. He's actually still our best box defender. Yeah, I get it. Towards the end of last season, he made a lot of mistakes. I wouldn't say a lot, actually. It's just that I think he was. There was a period when he was out with an injury. I'm not sure. I can't quite remember how long. But when he came back, he wasn't the same. Didn't look anything close to the Tosin that was, you could say, our savior during that period when it was obvious that every time we face persistent pressure from the opposition, we start making primary school level mistakes. But whenever he was on the pitch, if he was on the pitch, he usually handles the situation calmly, and settles his, you say, calms the nerves of his teammates and ensure that we don't concede silly goals during those situations. But I get it. The average football fans, it's their thing to easily, quickly forget how good a player has been if they make a few mistakes here and there, and I don't blame them. But if Tosin stays, as we are learning, it's because the manager wants him to stay, and that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be our starting centre backs, or he'll be starting week in week out. They value his leadership on and off the pitch, which I think makes sense. And if he's staying, definitely because Xabi Alonso wants him to stay. And the reporting question that I believe Jeremiah is referencing did say clearly, I think it was Fabrizio Romano who reported that first the decision was made by the club in collaboration with the manager. And I tell you right now, if Alonso doesn't want him to stay, he'd say just let him go. It's really that simple. But let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the conversation this particular morning. And let's see, Jay says here he wants to go to Spain. There are a lot of news. He wants to leave. No smoke without fire. I agree. I agree. He definitely wants to leave, and I respect him for agreeing. I think even before he signed that new contract, I think it'd be accurate to argue, maybe accurate to argue, that he probably knew he'd be leaving, which was why he refused. He definitely knew he was going to. He'd be. He'd already made up his mind. He was going to go back to Spain, which was why he didn't agree to an extension. He only agreed to a pay rise. Yeah, so it makes more sense now. No smoke without fire. So I definitely do agree with you, Jay. I can't believe we're agreeing. I want us to disagree so that yeah. Let's see. Yes, Cuckoo wants to go home, and I don't blame him. At this age, usually players do that. At certain age, players usually you see them itching to go back to where it all started for them. Tosin and world class in one word. I haven't said he is world class. I'm just saying I think he's not as bad as a lot of Chelsea fans. You could say make it to be. Honestly, I think he's still our best box defender. I think there's a reason why the manager and the hierarchy agree to keep him. But the question now is, would he want to stay? Probably. He's not getting any younger, and I don't think he gets a call up, the England national team call up. Maybe Nigeria will give him a chance, but we'll see. Let's see. Modman, I'm not going to read your nonsense. Good argument there. It says, Cucurella, look at Tar, for example, before Xavi Alonso's arrival, Tar, Jonathan Tar, give me one. Jonathan Tah, for instance, wasn't world class up until Alonso's arrival and made Tah one of the best CVs under Alonso. Tuchel did the same with Rudiger. I've talked about Rudiger's you can say we did mention Rudiger's case as a prime example of how a player being bad under one manager could become you can say much better under a different manager. Yeah. You're dreaming. Jay says, by the way, Tosin can stay, no issues with me, and hold the bench. Yeah, I think him staying doesn't necessarily mean he's a starter. Definitely, you can say squad player, and if he proves to be, you can say, undroppable, then yeah, the manager he'd have no option than to keep playing him. I've no problem. At least he can entertain and make Palmer happy. You are definitely not going to that. You're not going to heaven, Jay. Look at me reading that particular comment with all seriousness, not knowing that's a twist down somewhere. But all right, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna scroll up. So Cucurella, let's see a lot more about Cucurella coming up here. Sources say that Chelsea regard next summer as the ideal slot to either extend Cucurella's current deal all part ways. So there's still a chance. It does make sense. And I remember reading a report that suggests that, yeah, Xabi Alonso, that he'd spoken with Cucurella severally, if we're to believe that particular report. I think there's still a chance. And I learned yesterday, except if that report in question, except if that report is wrong, suggests that he still has 3 years on his current contract. If that's the case, I don't think Chelsea will be in a hurry to sell him. And we've heard that Xavi Alonso wants to keep him. Please listen. Uh, I think all these players would want to play under him, except if Cucurella has more, you can say, a stronger factor, such as wanting to go back to Spain. You could say getting the opportunity to play for the club where it all started for him in Barcelona or even Madrid, or you could say in general the country where it all started for him, Barcelona. But if you're being more specific, the La Masia. But we heard that Atletico Madrid are interested, and also Real Madrid are also interested. Give me one second. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Talked about this one, Bolton Wanderers story. All right, we're here to talk about Chelsea Football Club. So Cucurella, there's still a chance he stays. And I'm gonna read this one more time. If you want to listen when I read it at first, of the first time, it reads: sources say that Chelsea regard next summer as the ideal slot to either extend Cucurella's current deal or part ways. So 50-50. So I think Alonso will play a huge part in convincing him to stay. If I were Alonso, I'd say, look, we're making a few established signings. That's the plan. Probably he could. Man, I don't think it hurt to actually mention a few names to him in private, in a private phone call. We're looking to sign the other player, the other player. The plan is to win the league next season. You haven't won the league. You haven't won the Premier League. It'd be a huge, you could say, a huge achievement for you as a player. And look, we don't have European assignments or European distraction, if you want to call it that. We'll focus on the league, and we can win it and still win the FA Cup and the other um, what how the other cup competition. I think just something to that effect. But I don't. There's a chance actually he goes to the measure of mentioning the players. Uh, it wouldn't hurt to do that in the, you could say, in the effort to convince him to extend at least by a year. It wouldn't hurt. Stay one more season. Let's push for the Premier League title. You know, I don't think it will be a hard sell. I think it will be an easy sell to him, in my opinion. But if there are stronger factors such as him wanting to go back to Spain, Barcelona to be more specific, a place where it all started for him, then yeah, maybe he wouldn't budge. All right. Jay says Josh, Levi, Fofana by default, no choice. Hato, Reese, and now Tosin are all here next season. Gusto, I don't know. That leaves a scope for just one addition in the defense. Um, I don't know. That yeah, that's got me thinking. Uh, let's see what happens. Ah, hmm. Yeah, that's got me thinking. Let's see what happens. So we can only speculate. So I'm not too sure how they're gonna handle that if they're looking to sign more than one CB. Probably, I'm not sure. But if Cuckoo leaves, I think definitely we're going to be signing two defenders. Um, yeah, one CB and one left. You could say left back capable of playing and operating as also as left center in the left center back position. Kyle Walker to Chelsea. I wouldn't mind. I think he still got it. But everything comes down to what the manager wants. And that's from Robert Allen. Robert Allen, thank you so much for joining the conversation. Kyle Walker is very experienced and he still got it in him. So I wouldn't mind Walker at Chelsea. But are we looking to sign him? Um, nope, I don't know. But I think he's a very good player, and I think he's still got it in him. The question is, are we looking to sign him? No. Kyle Walker, he's trash. He's not trash. This is not. I don't think he's trash. I think he must have had some. You could say, in my opinion, a falling out with Pep Guardiola. He signed. When did he sign the new Man City contract? It wasn't long ago that he signed a new contract, and then boom, next thing you know, wasn't playing much, and I think it was him that pushed to leave on loan to go on loan to AC Milan or something. That I can't quite remember what happened, but I'm definitely sure it wasn't long ago that he signed a new contract. I think he must have had a falling out with Pep Guardiola. Yeah, and in all honesty, I would take Kyle Walker. I wouldn't mind. Jay says I think the defense is fine considering we got no European. Okay, considering we got no European, no European football, but they have to go all out for that one new CB. I think definitely you cannot mess around when you need just one top class CB. I think we will get one. Until we will get one. And I'm going to say this again. I'm confident that we will do the right thing. That's because yeah, we have a manager now. We don't have a head coach, so he decides what happens. And I don't think he'd look at our defensive options and go, yeah, we're okay with that. And I think it's been clear. He said the club, if you want to call those briefs, that yeah, we're looking to sign a CB. The question now, who we gonna sign? I don't know. Maybe if Enzo Fernandez goes to Real Madrid, we get Dean Huijsen in return. But let's see. Yeah, I would take Kyle Walker. I'd take him. He brings leadership, experience, and to be more specific, Premier League experience. And I would take him out and give him a 2-year contract. And he's a winner too. He can help us shoot for the Premier League. Honestly. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Remember when he had Marcel Desailly and Thiago Silva at Chelsea? When we had Marcel Desailly and we had both at the same time? These are the eras when we had them. I loved Desailly. Even I loved we when we had what's his name? When we had the Senegalese international we signed from Napoli. I think we didn't know what we had until we lost him. I think Chelsea fans were just that usual behavior of slating player unnecessarily or the lack of understanding of you could say the situation that we were facing at the time. They threw him out. They threw what's his name under the bus, Koulibaly. But look at the CVs we have right now. None of them comes close to the level of Koulibaly. Give me a second here. I think it's time to beg for likes before the show continues. I'll come back to what you guys have to say. So I want to hear your thoughts on Cucurella. If you can, let's keep the topics aligned. As much as I like to interact with you, but switching topics like this can be exhausting. Let's see. Let's see what else we have here. Kyle Walker will be a perfect understudy right back to Reece James. Jesus Christ. Okay. Signing Murillo to dominate a Premier League area battles will be like sending a guy no, to fix a street light, talented, but you might want a bit more height. I said that too, but I'd still take him and mix it up a bit. Yeah, if we're signing him, then we should mix it up so we can still have aerial dominance. And but he's on the carpet. He's excellent. You can muscle him up the ball easily, but not the best aerially. So I agree with you. But if you're talking about set piece situation, if our goalkeeper can command his area very well, and we have a mix of Murillo and all the tall and aerially good players, then we'll be good. But Drew, nice to see you, my bro. I appreciate you. I think that that comment there is delicious. You could say a mix of comedy and fact, which I like. So let me give you some emoji here. I like that. All right, let's see. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Let's see. We're going back to this guy, the presentation window. I'm going to go back there. All right, Jay says the news about Josh staying with Alonso agreeing is a clear sign we might play three at the back. Yep. Maybe this three at the back thing is why we might sign two CBs only. This way, it makes sense. I think I agree. And Josh, again, we've also okay. We'll talk more about Josh, but out of respect, Jay being a member of the panelists, being a panelist here is the reason. Yeah, I will. You could say deviate a bit from the current topic and talk about him because I respect him, even though we fight all the time in the chat and on the panel. I just want to respect him and read that. But we'll talk a lot more about Josh's future once we get to that particular topic. Right now, we're still talking about Cucurella. Your thoughts? Do you think Cucurella stays? Now, the say was at Chelsea before Abramovich. Thiago Silva came in 2020 on the Lampard. Yep, I agree. You knew that, but the way you phrased it, I think it could be interpreted as both being at Chelsea in the same era. I would have kept Koulibaly at Chelsea, should have never sold him. But here's the thing, I'm glad he left. He'd been making 10 times how much we were paying him at Chelsea. He didn't complain much. I don't think we would have sold him. I think he would have stayed had we not. Did he leave? Had we not, you could say, fired Thomas Tuchel, I think he would have stayed. Yeah, I think what led to him leaving was the wage bill. The wage bill was an issue to some extent at the time. We wanted to adapt to the changing landscape of football from a financial perspective. So we were getting rid of those that were on non-heavily incentivized salary at the time. So we decided to change things around, and he was on the you could say his salary at the time wasn't incentivized, and he was earning a lot. He was one of the top earners at the time, so that was one of the reasons why when the offer came from the Saudis, we didn't hesitate to let him go. And had Thomas Tuchel stayed, I'd still say he'd still be a Chelsea player right now. Yeah, we know he didn't necessarily leave because he was poor. If you ask Chelsea fans, for me he wasn't poor. We had a lot of issues at that time, but it was easy to throw him under the bus. But yeah, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And let's see, this is unfiltered. Cam said, hell no, Kyle Walker is garbage. Again, it depends on who you ask, but I'd take him. Honestly, Walker is washed, bro. Stop it. Did you see him at Burnley? A tree don't make a forest. A tree don't make a forest. But I get it. I counter that saying that the tree cannot make a forest by saying, but if you're a huge tree, if you're a good tree, you stand out amongst the rest. I get it. But I take him at Chelsea. That's just my opinion. And chances are he's really washed, as you guys are saying. I want Tapsova at Chelsea, sell Fofana, Badiashile, and the Sissi. I don't think the club will be looking to sell Fofana right now because it would mean they would take a loss. Okay. All right, Drew, I'm going to give you fireworks. But keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Why are we stuck on 8 likes? We should be doing a lot better than 8 likes. So if you haven't, please take a second, drop a like on the video, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. All right, Drew, I'm not going to do this another day. It's set for celebrating someone's birthday. Okay? All right, but keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. He says, Coach, Bobby, the link, the link is in the group. Please check it. I'm quite sure I sent the link already. Please check. My only issue is Kyle Walker used to play for Spurs. He's a former Tottenham player to Man City, from Man City to City to Chelsea. For me, not so much an issue. Why is Jay saying my bad? What happened? All right, big up, Coach. Love from Trinidad. Aaron George, thank you for joining the conversation. Mike, Trinidad and Tobago, brother. I appreciate you for finding time to join the conversation. But man, we need help. Alonso will need about 2 years. Do I think that would be the case, really? I honestly don't think. I think we'll actually be contending for the title 26-27 season. And that's my opinion, but we'll see. What happens. I strongly believe that we'll be fighting for the title next season. I can't go to the measure of saying, to the extent of saying we're gonna win it. But yeah, big up to you too. Let's see what else we have here. Aaron Judge, Mod Nana saying welcome to you. Selling Cucurella and replacing him with Nathaniel Brown would be like, the blade is different, but you still got a tool for every situation. Let's see what happens here. Ben Jacobs' Chelsea valuation for Cucurella is 60 million. Good price. And I don't think, the Joker says, I don't think Chelsea will budge. Yep, I've sent the link. So what's going on here? It looks like this has become quirky again. Yep, I sent it and it went through. So what the heck? But I'm going to try to send it one more time. I'm not sure why this is the case. Jesus Christ. What's going on here? This app is seriously broken. Yeah, clearly it didn't go through because I'm seeing the comment that was visible to me before I sent the link was Jay's comment where it's asking context with the question mark, and I'm not on my iPad. I'm not seeing the link for the show. So what the heck? This really sucks. But I'm gonna try and take care of it. 60 million isn't bad. Walker is a mushroom in that. In that forest, Jesus Christ. Mushrooms can be powerful, and I'm quite sure you know that. Jay, you know that mushrooms can be very, very powerful. So I'm not sure why this didn't go through. I'm guessing I'm going to find a different way to do it. Give me a second here. Let me take care of that. Jesus Christ. I sent it, and it went through. But let me fix it. I apologize, guys. I'm not sure. Jay. Thank you for that. Walker a mushroom. Yeah, Bobby, I've seen that, but I'm gonna try. I'm trying to find a solution now. I'm not sure why it hasn't worked. Sometimes on the desk on the desktop you won't see the group, the panelist group. You'd only see it on mobile devices, and sometimes the case is vice versa. Give me a second here. I'm gonna make it work. I'm trying to find a workaround here. But keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. All right, I think that probably is gonna work. I hope so. Good coffee with lemon. I like that. All right, let me see. I apologize, guys. I'm trying to find a way to share the link. I did share it already, but they're not able to see it. So I'm trying to find a way. No, he, leave me alone. We signed Koulibaly for 5 years. Had we signed Koulibaly for 5 years earlier, he would have been our best CV since JT, and Carvalho still could have been had we been patient with him. Not necessarily been patient with him. Had it not been, you could say, us deciding to change our model, sign young players, and you could say have them on a heavily incentivized contract and all that. So yeah. I think he'd still be here if that isn't the case. It's not actually my. I know it wasn't, but keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. It isn't maybe. Yeah, big up to you too, my sister there in Shea Wendy. Always nice to see you out there. Hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation this particular morning. Bobby, I'm looking for a walk around. Would y'all take Jackson back? Yep, absolutely. I'd take him back. Even I wouldn't mind Emera going back on loan and us keeping Nicholas Jackson. And that's my opinion anyway. Let me share the link. But keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And if you haven't, subscribe to Chelsea Perspective. All right, let's see. I'm trying to fix this. Trying to fix this before we continue. All right, give me a second here. In a bit. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Yeah, and signs are, if we're to believe recent reports that yeah, he's open to playing for Chelsea again, and Chelsea are open to reintegrating him into the squad. Probably, maybe they must have spoken with Xabi Alonso, and yeah, he did indicate to them that he would like to keep Nicholas Jackson, because in my opinion, Nicholas Jackson is Xavi's perfect number 9. He'd bring the sort of, you could say, versatility that he had at Bayer Leverkusen when he had what's his name, the Nigerian in Victor Boniface, who's able to drop deep, participate in the play, drift to either flanks, left or right, and then centrally. I think Nicholas Jackson brings that, and it could happen. Yeah, so I think right now I'd say it looks like Jackson is going to stay at Chelsea, because a permanent departure looks unlikely. Why? Because we're asking for a lot, which for me it's a serious, you could say, indicator that yeah, we don't want to sell him. Even at the time before he left for Bayern, the asking price for me, I did say it at the time as us now not looking to sell him. And you could say, yeah, definitely. We don't want. I think he's gonna stay, and I don't think it'd be bad to have Nicholas Jackson, João Pedro, and Emmanuel Emera, because under Xavi Alonso, our approach in the final third will almost always be fluid or liquid, if you prefer. He doesn't, you could say, drill his team in a manner where once they get to the final third, they channel all their scoring chances through a single individual. That's you could say that's the reason I don't even believe we're looking at Victor Osimhen, because as good as Osimhen is, he's not Xabi Alonso's type of number nine. But that's not to say that Xavi wouldn't be willing to to adjust his approach to accommodate a prolific number nine as Victor Osimhen. It's a possibility, but it's a matter of profile. If he's definitely gonna play his way, his know the way a lot you can say the football world knows he likes to approach the game, then Osimhen isn't wouldn't be the ideal number nine signing for him. I think it'd be Nicholas Jackson returning, and then maybe also his you could say more like a hybrid number nine than your stereotypical traditional number nine. But yeah, Jackson is definitely Xabi Alonso's type of number nine, so I can see him returning. Let's see, Chelsea. Okay, is that Mod Manor? You slug it out with Mod Manor. Who would be your top target to replace Cucurella? Whew, I have nobody. I have to say, I haven't actually. Jesus Christ. Who would be? Cucurella is irreplaceable, really, because he's unique, and you could argue that's why I haven't actually looked at anybody. I've heard people mention certain players. Cucurella is unique, which is why I'd rather he stays at least one more season, help us shoot for the title next season. Nobody comes to mind now. Even the players that I've always liked, I'm not sure how I haven't actually thought about them in a bit. Nobody comes to mind. But if you're watching, who would you replace Cucurella with? Let's hear you. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. One more of my enemies just joined the conversation, and I feel like ending the show now. Yeah. Hear me out. According to Jay, Hato is better than Cuckoo at left back, and we might play an attacking player, i.e. Kenda, at left wing back, and for sure, Cuckoo and agreeing to be a backup for these positions. The only issue, you lose experience. I wouldn't go to the measure or to the extent of saying that Hato is better than Cucurella. I just stick with what I've said before. Hato definitely more technically gifted than Cucurella. Cucurella is unique, and even though I like Hato, I'd still at this point I'd still take Cucurella over him. Probably that you could say that choice subconsciously driven by Cuckoo's experience. Here's the thing: Cuckoo is unique. And what Cuckoo has is something I don't think Hato will ever become. I'd rather we have both. Hato, once again, more technically gifted, but Cuckoo has that perceived erratic approach. But if you say erratic, it's important to say erratic but effective approach. Cuckoo comes across as erratic, but that erratic application of his on the pitch unsettles even the best footballers you can say the best in world football. Name them Yamal, Vinicius Jr., name them, Cuckoo is capable of unsettling them. That erratic approach, perceived erratic approach of his, he's capable of unsettling even the best players in world football. Hato doesn't have that. But there's something Hato has that Cuckoo doesn't have. Hato is rapid. He's quick, and he reads. Cuckoo also reads the game very well. Hato reads the game very well, but Hato is quicker. Hato in a dangerous situation in terms of somebody catching up with an opposition player, orchestrating a slight tackle or a block to stop them from getting a goal. I'd bet on Hato getting to that player quicker than Cuckoo will. Obviously, Hato reads the game very well too. Has you said I'm not quite sure about his vision or passing range, but highly technically gifted. He can do a lot. If you use him in an offensive manner, he can contribute quite a lot also. So they're different. They're not the same. They apply themselves differently on the pitch. Hato, you can argue, more calm. Cuckoo, the crazy one. And that's just my opinion. We can keep both. We can keep both, even though, again, we know we can actually have both on the pitch at the same time, as we've seen. We've experienced on the our interim manager in what's his name, McFarlane. But I'd flip them, because on the day Hato played as left centre back, while Cuckoo played as the winger. I'd rather have Hato play as the wing back and Cuckoo play in the left centre back position, because Hato is more technically gifted and will contribute a lot offensively. But probably, given, you can say, Cuckoo's experience, he didn't do bad actually on the day that he played as. He looked like a traditional winger actually. But I'm just saying, if I were the manager on the day, I'd flip them. Cuckoo have Cuckoo operate as in the left centre back position, while Hato then play Hato as in the left wing back position. But that's a small opinion anyway. All right, let's see. Imagine left wing Jackson, central attacking midfielder Palmer, right wing Bowen, no, right wing Estavo, magical William. Bowen maybe in certain games. Again, his industry, I respect his industry a lot, and he hardly ever gets injured. Almost always, hardly ever gets injured. Almost always fit. Have you seen a video of someone telling him, Kapie, get your your bum out? No, who did that? All right, let's see. Why do you assume Emmanuel Emera will move to Chelsea? All we can do is speculate. So it's an assumption, and an assumption is uncertainty. Thank goodness you said, why do I assume? We'll move to Chelsea. He could be loaned out, and we've also talked about that before. Yeah, and I said, did you not hear me actually say that I'd rather Jackson stay in and Emera going out on loan one more time? I did say that too. So, but of course, because you're my enemy, you're always here to attack me. We don't need a lot of players due to lack of midweek games for months. I wouldn't mind us not signing a winger and having Jackson and Emera join. But I'm not the manager. He makes the decision. But let's see what happens. And I love Hato and Aaron George. Thank you for joining the conversation. Of course, you have to say big up to chat and not me. I know. That's how we're not friends. All right. There are 54 comments. And if I guarantee that I'd read all of them, I'd be lying to you. I'm not going to read all of them. I'm just going to breeze through them and say hello to those of you that I haven't said hello to, and then give Bobby a chance to speak with regards to some of the topics we've addressed already. But yeah, big up to all of you. Big up to Dark Poet House. Thank you for joining the conversation. Wharton and Murillo, but bail on Rogers. I would go for Tonelli in the middle personally. Thank you. Personally, and that's another way of saying it in my opinion. Lewis Hall in the future, best left back in the Premier League, best replacement for Cucurella, and rumors suggest we could get him, but some subsequent rumors quelled those rumors suggesting that we're already in talks to bring back Lewis Hall. So apologies to all of you. I can't read everything. If I've already read some of your comments, I will skip your subsequent comments until I get to the very bottom. And we have Jeremy Nice. Thank you for joining, my bro. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. Who else here that I haven't said hello to? Lots of love to all of you in the chat. All right, Bobby, big up, and thank you for finding the time to join me on the panel. How are you doing, my bro?
Yeah, big up, coach. Big up, guys. I don't know who else is on the panel, but
it's just you and I.
Oh, okay. The A team. Yeah.
It's a 1v1, you and I.
Yeah, that's as I said said the A team, one
Yeah.
on one.
Mm.
Listen, I don't know what you've been saying. I kind of got the tail end of
Okay,
the
I can. You could say,
well,
cue them,
I
cue you
kind
in by reading the reports.
yeah, I mean, I kind of got the tail end of the Cucurella talk. I
You
still,
know what? Let's go like this. I would do
I,
you that favor as our senior panelist here. Let's start with this report, which talks about Chelsea are tracking Aston Villa forward Morgan Rogers, Crystal Palace midfielder Adam Wharton, and Nottingham Forest defender Murillo. The three of them. And we can actually, I see a situation where we sign the three of them. But here's why I don't want Rogers. And I know he's an excellent player. If we're looking to play him as a 10, he's not that much of a creator. I know he excellent at driving with the ball, getting you goals. If we're looking to sign him as a 10, then he's not the guy for us. I'd rather we sign a 10 that's capable of garnering double digits by the time the season ends in terms of creating chances for his teammates, double digits in terms of assists. But let's hear you, Bobby.
yeah, I mean, as I've said a couple of times in recent times on platform,
Mm.
I'm kind of disconnecting myself a bit to all this transfer stuff because I think it takes years off your lifespan if you get too much into it. I don't know what's going to happen with Morgan Rogers. I think it will be a great acquisition if we can get him. Having a balanced 10 in that we'll have him on the left that can go out to the left wing and Palmer on the right that can go out to the right wing behind the striker. It's quite an amazing situation to find yourself in, or an amazing option to have. But the as the Morgan Rogers ship sails, one, he's going to cost a lot of money. Two, this lack of
He,
Champions
he
League
signed a new
football.
contract, right? Towards the end of the season or so.
He did, yeah, but that's probably to protect his value.
Hmm.
Two, to this no Champions League football issue is an issue. I wonder what would be his incentive to come to Chelsea and ditch Champions League football. I mean, it would be a prudent move on his part in terms of winning over the fans and in terms of the project. And it would be something that the ownership could really do with having in their corner. Look, I don't know. I don't know whether it's possible. I don't know how realistic it is. But I just think he would be a wonderful player to get if we can get him. Certainly, he's not particularly tall, but he has the kind of physicality that we need. And so
Go ahead, Bobby. All right, it looks like we lost Bobby. I'll bring him back on once he's back.
can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I can hear you now.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
turned off my engine to park
Oh, okay.
properly.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, what is Cucurella? I think is left to be seen. We spoke about this yesterday.
Yeah,
I
and,
think
and,
he
and
may
let
be.
me bring you up to date in terms of the case of Cucurella.
Yeah.
It says, let me read this. I think there are two reports that I want to read to you. The second one, my interpretation of the second one is that there's still a chance he stays. And you can say fresher reports suggest that Alonso has already spoken with him severally. I think there's a chance he stays. It depends on how we sell the project to him. And my argument is that tell him you haven't won the Premier League and we don't have European assignment next season. You can stay one more season. Let's push for the Premier League. But that's by the way. Now the first report here reads Chelsea are not actively looking to sell Cucurella in this window, but he has not been deemed an untouchable. You could argue down to the fact he's made it open that he wants to go back to Spain. either
Yeah, I
should
mean, I
someone, yeah, let me just bring you up to date. Should someone meet the club's valuation, then they will not stand in his way. And then this particular report here says sources
if
say
he wants to go.
that, yeah, exactly. Sources say that Chelsea regard next summer as the ideal slot to either extend Cucurella's current deal or part ways. Everything comes down to if he's bent on leaving. But let's hear you, Bobby.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think Alonso will talk to him. The Premier League carrot is still a big carrot. And depending on the business done over the summer, he may feel confident in that. And I would not be surprised if after all this rumor, he ends up signing a +1 contract again, which will still give him, which will increase his number of years to 3 and will give him an option and a decision to be made at the end of the season. Look, after playing back to back summers, I think he may be grateful for a less compact schedule. He's not old, but he's becoming mature, and he has never really had a rest, and he could do with a little bit of a slower pace. Look, I don't know. The only thing I'm saying is this, is that it's very funny that we're talking so much about Chelsea adding experience, and the two players prominently being looked at for sale are two very experienced players. You know, one older than the other, but they are the experience that we've been moaning about. I don't know. The fan base makes me laugh. You know, 1 minute they're like, oh, we need experienced players, and next minute is like, oh, get rid of Cucurella, get rid of Enzo. So what do you want? You know, experience is more than longevity of play. Experience is also knowledge of the club. Experience is also knowledge of the league. And experience is also knowledge of the club in the league. You know, there's so many things that these guys have been through with Chelsea that in a stable Chelsea they could offer a lot. You know, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think both of them should go. Although you know they're being touted to leave, I think we should be focused on shedding what I call the excess weight. You know, your Desassis of this world, Badia Shields. I understand Tosin is wanted by
Alonso.
Alonso. So you know, Badiashile needs to be shifted on. But I think I don't know how he feels about Fofana, but Fofana could be at risk because what I've heard is that he's looking for one centre back because we don't have European football. He just wants one at the moment, and he's also solidified his faith in Josh. And I understand he's actually, you know, decided to have a look at Mamadou Sarr. Now, I maintain, and I'll keep singing this till the cows come home. I want to see Xavi Alonso convert Josh Achipong into a six, into a defensive midfielder. I believe he will give us the qualities eventually of the likes of Busquets, even Rodri. I think he has that ceiling. He really does have that ceiling. He's still young. He's still going to grow a bit. He's certainly going to give height. As a defender, he's good at, you know, he knows how to head the ball, and he'll help provide cover to the centre backs at set pieces. It's such a win-win situation. You know, people, you know, sometimes you have to have a bit of vision in football. I remember having this argument about Conor Gallagher on this platform. Convert him to send to defensive midfield. Everybody was adamant. No, he's not a DM. No, he can't play DM. He did it once. Okay, didn't go quite well. I think he even got a red card, and that galvanized the comment even more. Oh, he can't do it. Then he did it again, and in the end, we found because of his fitness and because of his battling tendencies, we found we couldn't do without him in that position. in that season he played and played well before he left. So I think we'll have a lot more from Josh. I know I digress, but this is something I'm really, really praying for. But as far as Cucurella is concerned, which is back to the subject matter, um, we have to wait and see. But I don't see the sense in him going. And if he can be persuaded, I think he should be persuaded because we need his experience.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I agree with you. Let's see. What else we have here? Dark. Uh, That Poet House says that Cucurella for me has been our best and most consistent player for the past 3 seasons. Always works hard for the team. I wouldn't sell him, but you. One thing I want to say, you wouldn't also want to keep a player that's you could say bent on leaving or doesn't you could say wouldn't be committed if you. I don't think we can force him to stay. As long as you say interested clubs are able to meet our valuation of the player, I think he leaves. I'm just going to say, yeah, irrespective of whether we want to keep him, I don't think it makes sense to keep a player that doesn't want to stay. And it does seem like as if that's the case, but the truth remains there's still a chance that Xabi Alonso could actually convince him to at least spend one more season and get a chance to have a go at the Premier League trophy because I strongly believe we can actually contend. You can say be contenders next season, and that's my opinion. Cuckoo will be 28 next month. He won't stay if returning home is a viable option. That is something we already talked about here. And Vic, it won't hurt you to say I agree with you. Okay, Vic. All right, much love to you, my bro. Always nice to have you here. And let's see anything else. Cuckoo
Can I
has
add
to.
something to that?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Returning home is always a viable option for Cucurella. You know, people are thinking it must be Barcelona. Barcelona have a lot of left backs. They're not desperate for a left back, and we're not going to give him away to them. Atleti, they also have left backs. So it's not exactly a sought after position. Now, he's someone that people would want, of course. You know, he's a very good player, and especially if he has a good World Cup, he'll be sought after even more. But the fact of the matter is that he is a Chelsea player. He does have 2 years left on contract. And whatever happens
Some
in
are actually
negotiations,
saying 3.
maybe, I think it may be that. You
Or
know,
maybe
whatever happens,
two and a two. You could say and a 2.5 or so. I'm not sure.
yeah, whatever happens, it's not fully down to Cucurella. Now, the club's not going to get into a silly argument if he really wants to go, but he's never said he really wants to go. Cucurella has never come out and said he wants to. He criticized the club about recruitment, not that he wants to go. Yes, earlier on, a few years ago, he said, yeah, he would like to finish his career at in Spain. Well,
A lot
so
of
did
players do that.
Aspilicueta. Exactly. So I don't really understand all this bandwagon, get him out almost sort of situation. We just have to wait and see. If he wants to leave and there's something on the table, fine. If there's something on the table and it's not enough, and he's not particularly pushing to leave after talking to Alonso, then using your terms, you know, buy Felicia to whoever wants to buy him, and we continue with Cuckoo. I'm just concerned that certainly at the start of next season, he's going to be a tired boy, and he's going to need time. You know, hopefully we can rely on Hato as we've done towards the tail end of the season to give Cuckoo some good rest.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for that, Bobby. Cuckoo has to stay. Blue Co needs to give him a new contract. That's a possibility. If we're going by what Simon Johnson says in this particular report on the screen here, let me do it in a manner that you'd place it in a way that you'd understand. So it says Sources say that Chelsea regard next summer as the ideal slot to either extend Cucurella's current deal or part ways. So there's still a possibility. The question is whether he agrees to what they'd be willing to offer. But we'll find out. I think they would want to keep him if the manager wants him to stay. And we've heard that the manager wants him to stay. So there's still a possibility. And it depends on how eager he is to go back home. Because it's important to note that, a lot of footballers, again, at certain age, they want to go back home. All right, let's see. I don't think anyone is talking about selling Cucurella. But yeah, you get some Chelsea fans who just say sell him because he's indicated that he would want to go back to Spain. Yeah, let's see. Modmana, who you're talking to. Garnacho is more. Can you let me host the show in peace, my boss? Please, just leave me alone. Talking facts, we need them, but the projects are not projecting. We need them, but you just cannot keep players that don't want to stay. I think Enzo Fernandez, there's still a chance he stays. In my opinion, but more likely, he's most likely going to leave. I don't think Alonso would want to, you could say, do anything that would seem as if he's begging a player to stay or forcing a player to stay. I think he'd already made up his mind he wants to leave. Cuckoo looks for me. I think it'd be accurate to say in Cuckoo's case, it'd be accurate to say 50-50. If Cuckoo leaves, then Bluco out forever. That's childlike, honestly. Rumors Chelsea wanting Nkunku back. That's interesting. I don't believe that one bit. But I don't believe that one bit. But yeah, we'll see. All right, Bobby, you cannot and shouldn't keep players who do not want to stay. Everything else becomes secondary. I think I can't believe I'm agreeing with Jay on that aspect, and I think Bobby also knows that. I think he's just. You can say he doesn't like to hear Chelsea fans urging the club or asking that certain players be sold because, they've made it open that they want to go back home. The fans are just upset. That's another way to see it. Bluco made the fan base angry. That's another way to say it. The club needs to sell one valuable player to raise funds. That's your point of reference. Who we sell is not the decision of the fans. That may well be the case, but I'm not sure why. I read a particular report that suggests we have money to spend. The biggest problem would be convincing players to come join us. All right, but I get where you're coming from. Can we keep the topics aligned, please? Achimung will be perfect as a CDM than right back, in my opinion. Actually, he can also do well as a centre back. The players finishing 10th made the fan base angry, and now some of them want to bail after we find ourselves there. And Mr. Al-Shamari, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. It looks like this is your first time here. If that's the case, welcome to the Chelsea Perspective family. Here, your opinion matters. All we ask of you is just to keep it civil. And more importantly, it is always a debate and hardly a union here. We call it fight, but in actuality, a debate. But that's an in-house language. Ashamari says, I believe if Man City hadn't played that plastic Saudi Club World Cup tournament and rested last summer, Arsenal wouldn't have won the Premier League. The Club World Cup is a cancer to football. That's a fact. Even though we're being, you could say, worse than I had expected, the Club World Cup definitely a factor. I think a lot of Chelsea fans started, you could say, maybe looking at it from that perspective after Real Madrid president complained, you could say, had a meltdown about it. I get it, it's a lot of money, but it meant that the season for our players stretched longer than usual, and it did chop off, for lack of a more specific language there, or lack of a more formal language there, it did chop off some aspect of the time, some measure of the time that they usually go on vacation, take the time to rest, tune off football, and be normal people for a while. They didn't have much time, and also it meant that most clubs that went far in the competition didn't have proper preseason. PSG, again, they were able to convince the FA and other clubs in France didn't have issues having their games postponed to give PSG more time to rest. And but in the Premier League, you don't get such. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, excellent point right there. I agree. But how far did Man City go in that competition? By the way, I want to know. How far did they go? Because that's important too. Let's see. Imagine getting Mr. Murillo, Lacroix, and Bruno Guimaraes. We win the Premier League title. Cuckoo stays too, and we get Meñar and Osimhen. Do I think Xabi Osimhen for me? I'm gonna say this, and we've talked about this before. I don't believe rumors linking Osimhen with a move to Chelsea. And why do I say that? Osimhen definitely, given what we know, and that's not me saying that doesn't mean Alonso would welcome the signing of Victor Osimhen and then adjusting his approach to accommodate a more traditional number 9, because that's exactly what Osimhen is. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I think Alonso would want a more complete number 9, and that's my opinion. That's not to say, after all, Pep signed what's his name, Erling Haaland, who's a more traditional number 9. Pep, who's you can say all his career as a manager, he's played with more again. He's played more with hybrid number 9s, players who are capable of dropping deep, participating in play, drifting to hit the flanks and all that. But Haaland, I think his game has improved overall. He's able to drop deep and also participate in the play of late. But I'm just saying, Osimhen is not Alonso's number 9. Osimhen would mean that he'd have to tweak his approach to accommodate a more traditional number 9. So I don't believe those reports, and there are other factors too. I think salary, Osimhen's salary demands also a factor that a lot of people seem to have forgotten was one of the main reasons why we weren't able to pull off a deal that we thought was definitely happening not long ago. So that's also a factor to consider. But also, he's not Alonso's ideal, wouldn't be Alonso's ideal signing for Chelsea. And that's my opinion. I'm not saying that definitely that's the case. All right, keep dropping the likes on the machine, people. The likes do go a long way. And Rick Roy 32 says, them selling the leadership and experience group, Enzo and Cucurella, we're definitely moving backward. You need drop the idea of signing young and develop experience and leadership in-house. Here's the thing. They've made it clear they're going to sign more experienced players, and I think a more specific language used of late when reporting on the sort of players we're looking to sign, they've used such language as established players. Listen, pay attention to those two players you mentioned, them selling. We want to keep those players. But those players, for one reason or the other, they want to move on. And Enzo Fernandez, listen, I knew eventually that at some point he was going to push to leave Chelsea, irrespective of whether we win 10 Champions Leagues in a row. It's his thing. And if you ask me how do I know, I say go look at his days at Benfica before we signed him. But his last game for them, he made a gesture suggesting he was going to stay. He's a machinery, and every footballer, I think it'd be accurate to say every footballer is a machine. It's a machinery. That's just my opinion anyway. So the two players in question, the other one was openly twerking for Real Madrid, and when Chelsea fans and the media reacted to him twerking, I'd say twerking naked for Real Madrid, the way he did, he doubled So when Chelsea fans react and the media reacted the way they did because he twacked openly naked, in my opinion, for Real Madrid, he doubled down in a disrespectful, you could say, in a disrespectful manner, actually, to the club and to the fans. I know some fans would see it differently because they felt like, yeah, because they wanted something like that to happen because they believe something like that happening, excuse me, will lead to the club changing path. But the point I'm trying to make here, those two players, they are itching to leave. Cucurella respectfully made a public comment. For me, nothing wrong in the way, again, in his comment, in my opinion, he was truthful. First of all, he did it, you could say, in a sensible manner. He first acknowledged we have a lot of, you could say, talented players and we've achieved a lot together, but we need to do things a bit differently. I can't remember word for word the way he phrased that comment in particular. And I did tell people, for me, nothing wrong in that. And if I were part of the hierarchy, that I'd make him the captain, actually, because you want a leader, you could say, you want a captain that is capable of speaking their mind when things aren't going well, and not, you could say, in your presence pretend everything is all right, but behind you walk against you, for lack of a more accurate way to get that point across. But you get the gist. For me, the point I'm trying to make, I digress anyway. Those two players, it'd be accurate to say they're both itching to leave. And the club also have made it clear they're not actively looking to sell them. But if you want to leave, we're not going to be in your way. And also, it'd be accurate to say Enzo Fernandez did what he did. And that, you could say, takes me back to Vince's comment, where he said, we need to sell one player to raise fund. If in fact that's the case, I think it'd be you could say the theory, it'd be accurate, the theory that probably those players, they've always known that the club would have to sell and wanted themselves to fall into the categories of the non-untouchables so that the club will consider selling them. That's just a theory. That may well be the case. I don't know. All we can do is just speculate. But thank you for that particular comment there. I appreciate you. I hope you've also subscribed. His reminder is that Cucurella has 3 years left on his current contract, which definitely means Chelsea, truthfully and actively looking to sell the player. But it looks like he's bent on going back home. To be more specific, bent on going back to where it started for him. It all started for him at Barcelona, to be more specific. All right, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom and then I'll try to get your subsequent contributions in the chat. I can't read everything you have there. Let's see, anybody that I haven't said hello to. My bro, Maya the rapper says, big up to you too. And Cucurella wants to go. He can go. It's not like we cannot replace him. Look, the club is bigger. Again, nobody's bigger than Chelsea Football Club. We've been there. After all, Hazard left. There are other players too. In my opinion, Chelsea should sign Igor Thiago instead of Osimhen. I feel like Igor Thiago is more stronger and physical, and also maybe I'm not gonna go to that extent. But here's the thing: I don't know who's more complete, more rounded than both. But yeah, Osimhen, I'm not saying he's a bad player, and I'm gonna say this again: if we had Mourinho as our manager, I'd say get him Osimhen. How dare you call Enzo machinery? How would you? I will report you. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Big up, my bro. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom and now try to get your subsequent contributions in the chat. Dominic, Maximilian, and Neche. Nice to see you once again. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. See, moving on from Cucurella. Bobby, anything else you want to say before the next top item? I'm not sure what we're going to see next. But this year, on Cucurella too, go ahead.
I agree with the comment on Igor Thiago. He's one that I wouldn't mind him,
yeah.
Getting, yeah.
He
Definitely, he
signed a
has.
new contract already, right?
Oh, I
He
haven't
did. I
heard
think
that.
he did. That's what mid-table clubs do. If they find a good player and the player performs well, they usually rush quickly. They know the player will most likely leave, so they usually quickly offer him. You can say get them to sign a new contract. But go ahead, what you were saying, Bobby.
Well, yeah, as you've said, but it's not surprising because they want to maintain some value on him. But I would definitely go for him.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby. Yeah, I called him that. They all are. Oh, in my opinion. Let's see. They are crazy. All right. Uh, who made a comment on Igor Thiago? Bobby, my boss was some credit. He's letting you know that he was the one that recommended Chelsea sign Igor Thiago. So this says, okay,
Okay.
Cucurella definitely one of Clearlake's best ever signings, I must say. No questions about that. Chelsea have announced the signing of Ireland international Kati Maccabi. I don't know how good she is. I haven't watched her and know nothing about her except hearing that, yeah, he signed. All right, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And Josh Achampong. This says Chelsea reject approach from clubs around Europe and two from Premier League for Josh Achampong, defender seen as untouchable for the new era under Xabi Alonso. First decision made together between Chelsea and the new coach. This suggests that Alonso knew him even before becoming Chelsea manager. Uh, Good for the kid, really. So, but Vince's opinion is first sign we could play a back three next season, or Achampong will be used as right back because it's a back four with two centre backs and a regular right back like Reece James or Gusto. Then Achampong is better off on loan. That's some deep stuff there from Vince. So if that's not going to be the case, then yeah, we'll be better off sending him out on loan and not, you could say, dwarf his development because he's such a talent. And I think some people are unnecessarily blaming maybe Rosinia. I think Rosinia didn't give him good enough time. I think Maresca did. Maresca actually gave him opportunity in certain games that a lot of people didn't think he was going to play, and he did give a good account of himself. Maresca played him a lot. Occasions when Maresca we expected to see him and we didn't see him on the pitch, the fans started complaining, and then it turned out he was ill, wasn't available for selection. But people were saying a lot of nonsense online and having a go at Maresca until we learned that he wasn't actually available for selection. Then he was ill. Maresca liked Josh so much that after returning from again, we already heard at the time that he was ill, but after his return, he wasn't fully ready for a game. Maresca actually did you say gave him an opportunity to actually play a few minutes, and he made a mistake that led to us considering a goal. But the reason I mentioned Maresca playing him even when he wasn't ready is just to justify my argument that actually Maresca liked him. He liked him a lot. That's my opinion anyway. But Bobby, let's hear you. Good for the kid, really. Hopefully, we don't do anything that we dwarf his development. I believe he will play a lot under Xavi Alonso. Probably because I don't think he'd up to, you say he'd ask the club to not send him out on loan or maybe sell him if he's not willing to give him ample amount of minutes to continue developing properly. But Bobby, let's hear you. All right, I'm gonna keep getting what we have in the chat until Bobby is ready to speak. All right, where did I stop? What haven't I
Sorry, what was that,
read?
coach?
Yeah, I was asking you
Oh,
your thoughts on Chelsea refusing to sell Josh Achampong. Some European clubs and two Premier League clubs were interested in, you could say, inquired about his availability, and Chelsea aren't looking to sell the player.
yeah. I think I addressed that earlier. Um, he's definitely somebody that I'm glad that Alonso has come out and categorically said that he wants him to stay. The club wants him to stay. He says he has a plan for him. Um, I think he's always been valued. The only person that didn't value him was
I'd say Rosinia.
Rosinia. He's the only one. Okay, maybe McFarlane could have used him a bit more, but McFarlane had such a short time and a lot to do. But I don't think the club has ever treated him badly at all.
Unfairly, yeah.
It was the Rosinia period that was pointless. Times where he was left on the bench when it was obvious that he was the guy to be brought on to play. So I think Xavi will use him, and I hope Xavi uses him in the way I've been saying he should use him, and that is convert him to a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, again, his future lies with Chelsea, but let's see how Alonso handles him. Again, it's one thing to decide not to send him out on loan or maybe sell him, but the other, more importantly, is to ensure he continues to develop properly. Yeah, see, Alonso saw quality of Josh. This guy gets more game time. I think he will. Yes, please give Josh right back. Gusto is burning my eyes. I like Gusto, and I don't blame him for the lack of consistency we've seen from him. The Club World Cup's still a factor for him. He's tired, and he runs a lot on the pitch. And another factor is, in fact, how the managers we've had since he joined Chelsea have utilized them in different manners. No consistent usage. He's played right tradition. He's deployed. The managers some have had him play as a traditional fullback, some wing back, some on occasions actually he played as a left back. I think that was under Mauricio Pochettino. For me, the lack of consistency in usage, you could argue, reflects also in the way in his performances, and that's my opinion. Because there's a good player in there. If you think that's not the case, ask yourself, why are clubs such as Bayern looking for him? Interested in signing him, and that's nothing new actually. Maresca didn't give him enough game time, coach. He wasn't his first option. I'd have to disagree. I think he had a lot of good opportunities given his age. That's how you're actually that's how the proper way to actually aid.
What does he mean he wasn't his
Yeah, that's the proper way to
option?
aid the development of young players. You take it gradually. You don't. Go ahead, Bobby, if you want to add to that.
He couldn't be the first option. That's ridiculous. He's 18 years old. He's only just turned 19. Sometimes some of these fans, they come out with his first option. How can he be the first option? He's developing. That's like Gusto. Gusto is a developing player. People tend to forget that. And you're right, the CWC did get hold of him towards the end of the season, but I sincerely believe he's been improving every season.
He's improved, yeah.
I think he'll get even better next season.
He will. And if you think Alonso just out of the blue decided, yeah, let's keep him, no, he knew him before he became Chelsea manager. Let's see. What else do we have here? How will Achampong play a lot if James and Gusto are still here? Maybe James moves to the midfield. We need to learn him or sell Gusto. Let's see what happens. We don't know. Maybe the plan is to sell Gusto, but I'd rather Gusto stay. He's more experienced and, for me, not a bad player, actually. I think we're judging him unfairly. And Jay says, I badly wanted Josh to go on loan. They've mismanaged him so poorly, it's ridiculous. Rosinia, definitely not Maresca, because, yeah, there were at the time justifiable reasons why he was left out. And Maresca, he gave him opportunities in high-profile games. Actually, he got to play high-profile games under Maresca, and during those games, we had better, you could say, more experienced options on the bench. Yeah, But I still
Yeah,
don't
I
trust
totally
them. They will
disagree
give him
with.
enough chances. But it is what it is. I pray he plays
When you
more.
done,
We can only speculate. Yeah.
I totally disagree with Jay. That's nonsense. He hasn't been mismanaged. It was Rosinia. Nobody else mismanaged him. Club
Yeah.
didn't. Um, Maresca didn't. Even McFarlane didn't. So that's nonsense.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Thomas Tuchel did it. Thomas Tuchel, what Enzo Maresca didn't do him any wrong. He gave him a lot of good opportunities. You could say was it was always going to be a gradual process, and Maresca actually surprised me in certain games where I didn't expect him to start. He started, but yeah, and I've talked about how on occasions where we thought we were asking questions why he didn't start over certain players, it turned out he was ill. Coach, my point is that Gusto wasn't the main man at right back, plus his lack of consistency is the reason why he struggled at times. Lack of, you could say, consistent usage. Consistent maybe consistent usage in my opinion, the manner at which the managers use them. I mean, variations of positions, in my opinion, that's one of the main reasons why I'd argue he's not been able to perform consistently. And also, it's important to actually mention Club World Cup. It's a factor because he runs a lot. But in all honesty, I feel bad for our players the way we're quick to actually throw them under the bus or maybe start hitting on them for a few poor, you can say, mistakes on the pitch. Malo Gusto, my observation, I'd argue, such as him pulling the shutter for certain, who was that player, and the penalty we considered, that, you can say, that for me, those are signs of a player that is mentally tired. A break would do him a world of good. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's such a talent and can only get better. But the fact that the managers we've had, none have used them you can say consistently in a particular position. It is here, there, and is basically jack of all trade and master of none. And say what you like, he was Enzo Maresca's most important player. Irrespective of how you see him, what some Chelsea fans say, yeah, him playing as 10. When in fact what Maresca does is that his primary role was to always pop up in places to complete the triangles for Chelsea players and ensure at any given time on the pitch we have numerical advantage over the opposition. And he did it to a T, and Maresca loved that, which was why he played even when Chelsea fans thought he was bad. He still got to play. But I wouldn't sell him. I will not. That would be one player. If we sell it, be a mistake. And that Tobias Eristrup says Chelsea. I'm not sure what language that is, but yeah, I appreciate you. I'm guessing you're Chelsea fans. Nope, Maresca was equally a part of this justice problem. There's absolutely no way he got so little minutes while we had this awful Chelsea defense. How come Badiashile, Tosin, etc. had more time on the pitch? Because they're more experienced than him. And remember, Josh, he's gotten opportunities and he's made plenty of mistakes too on the pitch. If we're being honest, I think Enzo Maresca gave him a lot of opportunities. The only time Maresca didn't give him opportunities was were occasions where he was either ill or injured. Go take your time, do some research, and then you'll find out that, yeah, Maresca actually did give him a good enough game time, in my opinion. But you have every right to see it differently. All right, thank you for that, Tobias. I appreciate you. All right, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom very soon so that we can go news hunting. I think we've addressed all items we had planned to address. Tosin were making mistakes consistently, even Chalobah Fofana and several occasions, and yeah, Josh was the one with such little minutes. He was on the bench all the time, even against low teams. That wasn't the case on occasions where we expected him to be on the pitch, that he wasn't on the pitch under Enzo Maresca. was because he was either ill or injured. Go look at it once again. I agree with you, Coach, on Malo Gusto. Thank you for that, my sister Shay Wendy. Nice to have you join the conversation. And Gusto was pulling Taiwan when he should. Yeah, I agree. That was poor from him, for me, in my opinion. So you're telling me Josh made mistakes as much bigger as number than Tosin and Badiashile. These are lies. Hesitant. I'm not comparing. I'm not saying who made more mistakes. I just told you that even occasions I haven't compared to maybe figure out who made more mistakes than the other. And how many mistakes can you remember Tosin made actually if you want to compare them? So you can't tell me I'm lying when I haven't actually said he made more mistakes than the others. I'd say he's had opportunities and made mistakes too. And one of them being Enzo Maresca actually fielding him after him recovering from an illness, wasn't fully fit. It's they subbed him on and he made a mistake and we considered from it. So I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just my overall argument is that he had good enough opportunities under Enzo Maresca. Maresca treated him fairly. The only person I'd say didn't treat him well, Rosinia, and that's it. And I will never agree with you that Maresca treated him badly. You can go do your research and find out whether Maresca didn't give him enough playing time. So I'm not sure what argument you're trying. I don't know. You just decided to call me a liar. Go ahead, Bobby.
I don't agree with him either. That's nonsense, as I keep saying. It's like those fans that kept on screaming and shouting for 18-year-old Estabal to be played week in, week out. I mean, in a country he had just moved to, in a league he's never played in. I think sometimes we go over the top with some of these things. Josh wasn't treated bad.
And let's yeah, go ahead.
It was Rosinia in that short space of time that we could argue could have used him better. But I think Maresca used him as much as he should be used and more. There were times where he shouldn't have used him, that he used him and he came on and made some mistakes. So, which is all part of his development, but I'm not going to subscribe to this. Josh has not been treated well. That's not true.
Yeah, if you're saying again, I agree with anybody that says Rosinia didn't treat him well. I'd agree, but Maresca, no. Actually, look, Maresca was the one that started him against Crystal Palace. That he had a good game against. Was it Crystal Palace? A much taller, bigger player that a lot of people were asking why did Maresca decide to start Josh? Who was that player? Mateta, and he did very well.
Yeah.
And Maresca had other options on the bench.
Yeah, he threw him right in there.
Yeah. But of course, I will never blame Maresca. Even how some people blame Maresca for Hato's case, I will never blame Maresca. He was easing him in gradually, and he had a bad game, which I'd argue. However, again, no matter how good of a player you are, such bad outing, it would take a lot to recover from. Go ahead.
Yeah, he had a couple of stinkers. It wasn't just one bad game. I think it was two. And so Maresca, quite rightly, took him out of the limelight, kept him in the background, and then slowly started giving him a few minutes here, a few minutes there. It's just, credit to him that he is a good player. He recovered his mentality. And then Rosinia came and reaped the benefits. But he wasn't used bad. I mean, he wasn't really maltreated at all.
Yeah. All right, let's see what Jay has to say here. Maybe the bot told, or is it the bot didn't say anything. Can you stop that? Jay says that's the reason why Josh was irritated with playing time on multiple windows. Okay, and the club had to come out and brief his important on several occasions because both parties know what happened. I'm not that sort of content creator that's into talking about brief. But I get your point. I'm still sticking with my opinion that he played enough on that Enzo Maresca. Maresca gave him as much game time as he's supposed to. Or you could describe that as him easing him in gradually. And that's how you say you don't want a player as young as him to take anything for granted. And mind you, had Maresca played him a lot more and he ended up leading to us losing points, the fans will start turning against him. He says, and what happened after the great Crystal Palace performance? He was dropped for a long period in the league. You were just saying, wasn't that the period when he was ill?
Yeah, he had illness.
Come
and
on,
injury.
Jay, go do your research. Maresca didn't just drop him for nothing, and a lot of people found out it was after, I think it was during a pre-game interview, that Maresca explained the reason for his absence, and that was why a lot of people realized why he hadn't played for a while. Come on, man. Go ahead, Bobby, if you wanted to say something else.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I don't like these narratives. I know the club has done a lot of things that has angered the fans. I know there's a lot to be fixed. But to then just come out and start pushing narratives because you want to see a scenario with one of our academy players is nonsense. Josh has been used like he should be used.
Until Rosinia.
Until Rosinia. There's no big club in the world that would just throw him in like that. They will give him some time and start to blood him. That's why the term exists, blooding youngsters. And he was given a lot of opportunity. When he lacked the back-to-back opportunity after good performances, was either due to illness or due to sickness or due to tactical reasons where it was actually better to look for another option. It's rare that he performed well and wasn't given an opportunity again to redeem himself. And there's competition. He's a young kid. When a mature player that you use more or you rely on more is fit and able to play, he will tend to have to take a back seat, especially if you want to keep him fresh. No, I don't buy that at all. I don't at all.
I don't either. And Maresca gave more opportunities to Josh Achampong than PE teacher. I don't want to do that. But Jay says here he was on the bench. Yeah, after recovering. And usually when players recover from injury or illness, you don't start immediately. He was on the bench, and the next game that Maresca introduced him, he made an error leading to us conceding the goal. I can't quite remember what game it was after that illness, and I was so mad at Maresca because I was actually questioning why he brought him on. I don't blame him that much because we had shaky moments in that game in particular. He thought maybe Josh would make a difference, and on the pitch actually you could tell that Josh actually wasn't still fully fit. Players, when they recover, sometimes circumstances could lead to managers having them on the bench. Probably because we didn't have too many options at the time, he had to be on the bench. And I think one of the games, Maresca introduced him even though he wasn't fully fit. And you could tell on the pitch that actually he wasn't fully fit, and then he made one mistake. Or you could say he fully fit could at the time definitely wasn't. Again, he needed more time to gain 100% match fitness. So I think we should give Maresca credit. Actually, he gave a lot of our young players minutes. Actually, Josh especially, one of them. But that's by the way. And this says Chelsea regard Josh Achampong as untouchable despite multiple approaches, and they expect him to be part of Xabi Alonso's squad. I think he's going to play. More importantly, irrespective of how we. Irrespective of how we perceive how the managers gave him minutes or not, I think the most important thing is that he's staying. And we can all hope again that he plays a lot more under Xabi Alonso, and we can He said, please, can we mention, again, I remember one of those games, and maybe I'll figure it out and mention it to you. Not, again, he's not perfect. Jay, what are you trying to do here? I didn't say regular error. Did I say regular error? I said he had opportunities and in some of them made mistakes. So he's not perfect. The kid is still learning. And I'm not sure what you're trying to say here. I think this is what drives your strong opinion with regards to Josh's minutes under Enzo Maresca, probably because your dislike for some of the bad defensive, you can say, the not good enough defenders we have at Chelsea. But I'd still stick with Maresca gave him good enough minutes as much as, yeah, he should. But then the person I'm going to still, the only manager I'd call out would be Rosinia. Didn't give him enough minutes in my opinion. And I'm going to stop at that. Arsenal, Newcastle, and Crystal Palace are known to be monitoring the situation of Josh Archimpong at Chelsea, while Bournemouth also retain an interest in Josh Archimpong. We've already made up our mind. He's going to go, not going anywhere, and he signed a new contract. And the fact that Xabi Alonso part of the decision-making process, and they decided, yeah, he's part of the plans. He's staying. He's staying, and the kid isn't going anywhere. And I would hate if we decide to sell him and sell him to Arsenal. Go ahead, Bobby.
Coach. Arsenal, really?
Yeah, exactly.
All these Chelsea fans, I think sitting on the bench is the worst thing to ever happen since the turn of the Second World War. You think he's going to play at Arsenal with Gabriel and Saliba? Do me a favour. They're going to bench him like no man's business, certainly for a long period of time.
And I don't think he'd go there.
He's not going anywhere.
No.
Certainly
they
not
still
there.
have Hincapi. Hincapi is a centre back. They still have, I think, a lot of. It's not going to go. I think that's just. It could be his camp also putting pressure on the club to ensure if you're not certain about him getting good enough minutes to continue developing properly, just let him go. I would have loved him to go out on loan, but I am honestly happy that he's staying, and I think he wouldn't stay if the club isn't certain, or if Alonso haven't told the club, you know what, I like him and he's going to play. And as Vince and I think Jay also did mention in the chat that that's a sign that we're definitely going to play with the back three. All right, go ahead, Bobby. Anything else you want to talk about here? Marcel Desailly talking about Chelsea Football Club. I think I might need to refresh this so we can go start or go news hunting for new items out there. A lot of comments about Cole Palmer, who looks happy at Chelsea. I don't know anything about this kid here. Chelsea have announced that academy defender Justin Osagie has signed a new contract, keeping him at the club until 2029. I don't know anything about him, not even much, to say even much. Anything else here? Once we get to the top, I'm going to refresh, so if you have anything new, we can address it. Do you really understand what Bobby said? Bobby's saying it wouldn't make sense for him to go out to Arsenal mentioning how good their current defenders are, that he's not going to get a chance there. That's the point. But of course, you like fighting. All right, Enzo Fernandez is the player I want to so badly to see under Xabi Alonso, followed by Palmer. I can smell that Alonso will cook with them from here. We could see a more sophisticated version of the second six Enzo we saw at Benfica. Massive opportunity for him. I hope he makes that sacrifice and stay. It will be a missed opportunity for him and Chelsea if he leaves. And if he stays, he gets the opportunity to work under one of the best ever midfielders in world football. That could be a lure for him, and we don't know. But I get it. Some people are interpreting the absence of Marc Cucurella and Enzo Fernandez during Chelsea's photo shoot for our 2026-27 kit as a sign that they're both definitely leaving. I wouldn't go to that extent. I don't. Again, it's not too late. Usually, I've seen a situation where they release the photos of the players beat by beat. It could still come out because the clubs actually pay attention to what's going on and probably will let people believe that they're leaving and then release photos showing that they were part of the shoot actually, but I don't know what's going to happen. So Simon Johnson reports that Shumaira Shumaira, of what origin is that name? But let's just go with Shim Nyoka. Let's go. Shim is also earmarked to get first team football elsewhere. The 18-year-old was named the Premier League 2 Player of the Season and is deemed ready to get his first loan. Loan stuff these days, I don't trust it. We did talk about that at length on the other day. Dante was on the panel. We discussed how the best option usually sell them to a club, to a mid-table club, or to a championship club with a buyback clause. I think a buyback clause of forced refusal. I don't have a good understanding what forced refusal really is, but buyback clause definitely. And making sure with a buyback clause with a fixed amount. You can say a tempting amount to an amount that would be tempting to the buying club that will ensure that they keep playing the player, knowing that if the player plays first team football and achieves certain goals, that that if Chelsea comes for the player, they get at least a certain fixed amount of money, which means they will make some money. Which means them devoting their resources to the development of the player wouldn't be a waste. So I think we did discuss that at length, that these days clubs would be better off selling our players to a certain club with a buyback clause, so that the buying club, the club that the player goes to, will be willing to dedicate their resources to the development of the player, knowing that it wouldn't be for nothing. But when it's a dry loan, in most cases it depends on the players already available to the, you can say, at the disposal of the club's current manager. Sometimes, usually, players find themselves playing second fiddle to the club's own player. Because they wouldn't want to field your player and develop that player for you, and then you could just at any given time say, we want him back. These days, clubs don't want to risk that, which is why Andreas Sanchez suffered when he his first loan spell in the Premier League. I think it was it Nottingham Forest, and they had the Senegalese international, who was that they had at the time, who was more experienced than Andreas Sanchez, which meant that Andreas Sanchez hardly played. He only gets to play when that player in question wasn't available for selection. So clubs don't want to risk that these days. So Shim, I think, would be better off, in my opinion, selling him with a buyback clause. So the clubs, the purchasing club, or wherever he goes to, they know that they're not wasting their resources in developing the player, that should Chelsea come calling to buy the player back, they gain something from it. All right, anything else? And I'm actually Mike Penders, who spent last season on loan at Strasbourg, will be in contention to be Chelsea's first choice goalkeeper, along with Robert Sanchez. So if Sanchez cannot compete, bye Felicia. And I think eventually Mike Penders, as much as I'm concerned with regards to his high claim numbers, I think he's going to eventually improve in that he will improve that aspect of his game and become a much better goalkeeper. I've seen him pull off some excellent save, which shows that he has it in him to become a very good shot stopper. Sources in France say a deal to sign Strasbourg Valentin Barco is in place. The 21-year-old has already announced he is leaving the Ligue 1 club, but Chelsea have yet to confirm that he is joining. Maybe they're waiting to decide with the manager whether he goes out on loan, but I think he comes back, especially if Cucurella leaves. because he's able to also fulfill the left back role. Despite major investment, Chelsea squad is still obviously short in multiple areas. Most pressingly, they need a centre forward and at least one centre back, definitely. Kenda, I'm looking forward to this kid coming back home. 5 players have already agreed to a deal to join Chelsea, although only 2 can reasonably expect to join up with the first team. Goalkeeper Mike Penders after a season-long loan at Strasbourg, and winger Giovanni Kenda after his arrival from Sporting CP. I'd say we're definitely going to see Valentin Barco, and that's my opinion. I know a lot of people are hating on this kit. I actually like it. Simplicity, in my opinion, again, I like simple designs, not so much going on it. And I think by the time we see the players on the pitch play with it, I think we will start loving it. And that's my opinion. So this year suggests that Chelsea want Galatasaray striker Victor Osimhen and are pursuing him for the summer. I don't believe this. For one second, I don't believe this. He's not Xabi Alonso's type of number 9. And that's not me saying that certainly Xavi wouldn't want a good player as Osimhen and then tweak his approach. Xavi likes to play, Xavi's approach almost always a fluid front area. And I think you can say much better with a more rounded player than Victor Osimhen. But I'm going to say this once again, that's not me saying that suddenly he wouldn't want a player, a number 9 that's as good as Osimhen and wouldn't be open to adjusting his preferred approach or accommodate such a prolific striker. I would take him. But I'd say if we had Murillo as a striker, I say definitely bring Osimhen. But I don't believe this rumor here. I honestly don't believe it. I think it's absolute horse dung. We've been there before. All right, what else do we have here? I like this kit. For me, because I'm into design and I value simplicity when it comes to design. I think definitely once the players start wearing them and on the pitch, I think fans will warm up to it. I like it. I like simple design. I don't like designs that have a lot going on them, but I get it. A lot of fans don't like it, and you could argue this is a common occurrence. Once you have a big Chelsea content creator say, "Oh, this kit sucks," a lot of that particular content creators followers would take it and run with it, and then it become commonplace within the community that the kit sucks. Yeah. All right, let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. Yakon, thank you for joining the conversation. I appreciate you. Let's see what else we have here. We should stick with Jackson and not prioritize Osimhen again. Jackson is more of Alonso's type of number 9 than Osimhen. That's not to say Jackson is a better striker than Osimhen. It's just a matter of profile of the players in question. I'd rather Jackson. The question is, would Jackson want to stay? And we've addressed a particular report suggesting that Jackson would want the club to guarantee him the number 1, or you could say him being the number 1 in the pecking order before he agrees to return to Chelsea. I'd say, again, it just doesn't make sense. I think there's a place for him because he's capable of playing on the flanks too. And João Pedro is also capable of playing on the flanks too. Who's to say we're not going to have a situation where João Pedro actually plays as one of the 2 10s? If Xabi Alonso plays with his the sort of approach he used at Bayer Leverkusen, almost always having 2 10s on the pitch, then it wouldn't be bad as João Pedro being one of the 2 10s, and we then would have more goal threat. And João Pedro is actually capable of creating for his teammates. So yeah, I think I agree. I'd rather Jackson than Osimhen because he's more of Xabi Alonso's type of number 9 than Victor Osimhen. It's really that simple. We haven't signed anybody. Amola Wale. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name fully, but thank you for joining. I appreciate your contributions there. So for me, I like this kit, honestly. It's simple and it's nice. Yeah, but our change is difficult anyway. All right. Yes, I prefer Nicholas Jackson because injury and the intensity of the Premier League may hinder an Osimhen, and also more importantly, his profile overall. And I'm going to say something I've been saying over the past 3 years. Olawale Ekugbadu, my brother, I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. Ekaro. But yeah, I am glad that no big club is seriously showing interest in Mika Gods yet. Let them all stay blind. I have said before, I hope we make this deal and let him develop at Ajax. He's ridiculous. And rumors suggest actually they were already in talks with Ajax for the signing of the Belgium international. Is he a Belgium international yet? Belgium kid. Let me just stick with that. And Makoti says he doesn't understand why, if you want to change a manager, why Xabi Alonso would have been wouldn't have been top of your list. And he says at some point Liverpool need to explain why Xabi Alonso ended up at Chelsea and not at Liverpool. I don't care. I'm just happy he's at Chelsea. Josh Achipong, according to Nizaki Sela, will seek assurance on his future development. Haven't grown frustrated about lack of minutes last season, with clubs showing an interest in him, in signing him. As I've said, that was Rosinha's fault. Rosinha didn't give him a good enough chance, in my opinion. And I'm gonna refresh this to see if anything new emerged as the show progresses, so that we can address them and then call it a day. We've been streaming for 2 hours and 22 minutes. I had Bobby on the panel with me, and I appreciate you finding the time to join me. But let me refresh this to see if anything new emerged, as you were busy addressing the other items we already addressed. Right, let's see. Yakani saying the question is, why should top talents join a one game a week Chelsea? What makes CFC more favorable than better teams in 5th, 6th, 7th place? Let me ask you this. What position did Chelsea finish the year they signed? I think it was, what players? I can't quite remember. Some of the players, I think we were 10th place and we were able to sign certain players at the time. But here's the thing. Does it really matter? It doesn't matter. If you have a player that would want to join you, they join you. And I'd rather we do our scouting homework properly and not just aim to sign, you can say, big names and sign players that will, you can say, that are willing to join us and also that will make us better. They don't have to be the biggest names in football right now. And I don't think the you can say the strongest argument will be, you can say, I get it. Maybe that's another way to, you can say, to reference our lack of European football, which is important in. I'm going to say this. The question is, why would top talents? Yeah, and as I was saying before I was interrupted, you can say an accurate way to reference the fact that we don't have European, will not be playing in the Champions League. I get it, but I don't think that would be the reason why we're not going to make good signings. Maybe we're not going to be able to get some of our first choices, but we've been there before. I think the size of the club, more importantly, can help us sign the players we want. Whether we end up signing our first choices, I don't know. Yeah, but that's my opinion anyway. Big up to you too, Daniel Knight. I appreciate you finding the time, excuse me, to join the conversation. We'll be rounding up soon. I just want to go news hunting to see if anything new emerged as we were busy addressing some of the items we've addressed already. Let's see, Guts. Chelsea starting valuation for Marc Cucurella is expected to start around 70 million, which is 70 million euros, which is 61 million pounds. So let's see. And I don't think Chelsea will budge. I think that could lead to him. We could say that could lead to him staying. I don't know, and that's my opinion anyway. Amor says, Olawale says, I would prefer we focus on signing reliable defenders. Let's see. Real Madrid have verbal agreement in place with Ibrahima Konate 4-year deal to be signed, depending on if when the Florentino Perez is re-elected. All right, Josh Achapong, I think we've addressed that too. And with that, we've come to the natural end of this particular edition of the Blue Morning Show. And yeah, man is tired, but it's been an excellent conversation with Jay in the chat, debating with I and Bobby. I think more specifically Josh's future. I want to say thank you to Amo Olawale for joining the conversation. If this is your first time here, I appreciate you. Here, your opinion matters. It's always a debate and hardly a union. All we ask of you is just to keep it as civil. More importantly, welcome to the Chelsea Perspective family. We should go for Murillo. Rumors are we're interested in signing Murillo. So thank you for joining. Daniel Knights, thank you for joining. Yakon, they say lateness is greatness, but thank you for joining anyway. Amo Ekugbadu, and thank you for joining. Who else was here? Jay, my bro, thank you for joining. Mabas05, aka MB05, thank you for joining. My bro, Shay, Wendy Williams, and Maya the rapper was also here. Vic was also here. And with that, thank you once again. If I miss your name, apologies, I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and cheers.
From the bridge to the stand, I carry that crest in my hand. Rain on my shoulders, still I stand. Tell me who wears it like we can. Mud on the boots, heart of gold. Those stories living in the cold. Every name that the walls still hold. I was born for this, I was told. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold. We were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. When the pressure comes down hard, we don't flinch, we play our part. Every scar on the back says more than 1,000 songs before. From the first whistle to the last, we remember where we came from fast. No throne, no crown, no borrowed fame, just a city calling out that name. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold, we were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end. the stand. I carry that crest in my hand, rain on my shoulders, still I stand. Tell me who wears it like we can. Mud on the boots, heart of gold. Those stories living in the cold. Every name that the walls still hold. I was born for this, I was told. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold. We were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. When the pressure comes down hard, we don't flinch, we play our part. Every scar on the badge says more than 1,000 songs before. From the first whistle to the last, we remember where we came from fast. No throne, no crown, no borrowed fame, just a city calling out that name. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold. We were cut from that blue gold.